The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
This is where the fun begins.
Get ready for raw, unfiltered Razorback talk. Nobody knows what they'll say next. It's time to go inside the Hawg pen with Razorback Zach, Marcus MC Carlton, and Sarah Swish Vogel.
Okay, well, technical difficulties galore. What's up, everybody? It's Razorback Zach, and welcome to another edition of Inside the Hawg Pen. Oh, God, I love it. I love this shit, y'all. I love this shit. It's the dynamic duo. We're back together once more, but we're missing our third wheel. No offense, Sarah. The Savage Sarah is out tonight. She's on her way to Jacksonville, Florida. So doing a little competition or something. But from the NEA Hawg Pen, we've got the one, the only, and he's still baby-faced, Marcus MC Carlton. What's up, dude?
Hey, man. That's whoo boy, what a week it's been.
Yeah, tell me about it. It's been a wild couple of weeks for me, but
It definitely
dude,
has.
I've never felt better. Never felt better. Whew, hope everybody had a great week. I know we're only halfway through its hump day, but that's all right because Razorback baseball is still around the corner. But MC, dude, we got a lot to cover tonight because it has popped off in the last 48 hours or so, and you have been chomping at the bit for this.
Oh man, hey, I have been like a kid waiting on Christmas for tonight. We got a lot to talk about. We got all kinds of stuff, man, and let's just start it off here. We have a new sponsor.
We do have a new sponsor. Tell us about it.
So this has been. I'm going to give just a quick backstory. This has been kind of building in the background a little bit, and something that I've been kind of working on. Reached out to someone I know, and they have a business, and so I'm just like, hey, what would you think about ... And when I was talking to the owner of the business, she was like, absolutely love it. So proud to present Meeks Design. And I want to throw something up here just to kind of show you a little bit of the work that they can do here. Custom t-shirts, pullovers, polos, hats, pretty much anything you can think of. The owner, Michaela, is a baseball mom. So you can see with what we've got here on screen, this is one of her latest creations for all of those baseball moms out there. Meeks Design, you can find them on Facebook. They can make pretty much anything you need because I had an idea for some merchandise that I sent over to her. I'm like, hey, could you do something like this? And she's like, oh yeah, of course, we got this knocked out, no problem. She told me, she's like, anytime you have a design like that you send me a sample of, she said 9 times out of 10 I'm going to be able to duplicate it or make something very close. I'm like, all right, awesome.
Was it that one that you showed me?
Yes.
Oh, dude, y'all.
So we got something coming down the pike in a few weeks.
I'm telling you right now.
Meeks Design is in the lab right now, working up some custom merch for ITHP, and we're even going to have some merch for giveaways. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna have some merch, and we're gonna have something very unique that I guarantee you no other podcast in the state and possibly the country is going to have one of the merch items that we're going to have from Meeks Design and the Bobcat Soap Company. So just stay tuned with us for that because there's a lot more to come on this, and you'll start seeing more and more of Meeks Design inside the hog pen. They've agreed to come on with us through baseball season. Like I said, Michaela's a baseball mom. Shout out her husband Baxter and her baseball player Tyson. He's Tyson's. I tell you what, man, Tyson's a pretty salty little ball player. So we'll be seeing more of Meeks Design in the weeks to come here on Inside the Hog Pen. So I just wanted to give him a shout out, and then now, Zach, we can get down to business.
Something's up with my soundboard, but I don't know what happened, but my let me talk to you is not working. So we're just going to do this right here. That's right. In a fiery crash. MC.
So it hasn't officially crashed. The Must Bus has not officially crashed.
Yeah, but he's gone, man. I mean,
yeah, I think it's safe to say. Yeah.
But again, I've been saying it for months.
You have, yeah. Well, I have a friend of mine here locally that, when I'm not chatting with you guys during a ball game, I'm chatting with this guy, and he's been telling me since the 1st of February, he's like, man, Muss has give up on this team. He's checked out. He's job hunting. I mean, this dude he's been calling this since the 1st of February. And I mean, it's beginning to look like this dude was a prophet because, all signs are pointing to, and I keep looking over to my left here. I'm refreshing Twitter because honestly, I am expecting an announcement to hit Twitter at any point saying Eric Musselman is the new coach at USC.
You know how
Haven't seen it yet, but
that's gonna sting. But here's the thing. Loki brought up a good point about the University of Arkansas that
he did.
blew
Yes.
my mind. And when I tell you it blew my mind, it just I couldn't speak, couldn't do shit for about 5
And
minutes.
he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong, man. I mean,
they look, the four of them, they carried on conversations. Me, I couldn't carry nothing. I just couldn't do it. But I wanted to share it with you guys. And this is coming from Loki, our producer back at the Sideline Media compound. He says, we act like we have all these big opportunities and top-notch coaches and are going to make it and are going to make big moves. And then the Jerry Jones effect hits. Okay? Now, let me explain what that is. We have players abandoning a sinking ship, a whole metric crap ton of coaching drama, a director who is trying to wave it all away. Just like that other team, just like that other Jerry Jones team, we keep talking about how it's our year when we haven't been relevant since the 90s. I can read it now because it's not going to blow my mind so much, but he's unfortunately got a point, MC.
I mean, he does. He has a good point. Now, in my opinion, the two Elite Eights made us relevant again, but that has been a couple years ago. So it's hard to argue with what Loki was throwing out there. To be determined. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to show faith in Hunter Yurachek to make the right move until he gives me a reason not to.
I just hope it doesn't Jeff Long this. And I mean, because if you're going to let Musk go,
right,
you are going to have to pull a name out of the hat that is a splash hire. And I swear to God, if it's Will Wade or some Division II coach, my freaking head's going to explode. You have one coach in mind, and you've been saying it. You've been saying it for months. Okay?
Yep. I'll go so far as to say when Muss was hired, Muss was not my top choice. This guy was my top choice. And that guy's name is Chris Beard.
Okay, but tell me why.
In my opinion, okay, first to start off, if you look at his track record, he's won everywhere he's been.
Okay.
Took Texas Tech all the way to the national championship game. All right. Pulled the big up when he was at Little Rock. He pulled the big upset, went 30-5 in 1 year at Little Rock, beat Iowa or Purdue or somebody. Purdue. Okay. Beat Purdue as like a 13 seed.
I think it was Purdue. Wasn't it? I thought it was in one of the first four, or was it the actual first round that he did it?
I think it was the actual first round.
I think you're right.
I'd have to look that up. But so the man's won everywhere he's been. The only reason he didn't win at Texas is because he didn't have enough time to be there.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Miss Lisa.
Okay. I can explain. I know Miss Lisa. I know her line of thinking here. So
why?
Here's what she's thinking.
Okay.
This is not the first time that Muss has been flirting with another job. Okay. He's been lifting his skirt the last couple of years, trying to find a new suitor.
You would put it like that, though. So with him,
well, he's basically been fishing. We'll put it that way. He's been casting it out and slowly reeling it back in.
But again, his track record,
if he can get a bite.
His track record, though, MC, he's not been at a job more than 4 year, 5 years at the most.
I have heard two really good comparisons on him about the fact that he's only been somewhere, 4 years at a time.
Okay.
I heard one this morning on, it may have been Morning Rush. I don't remember who I was listening to because I was getting ready and I was half asleep.
As we all are.
Yeah, as we all are. The caller got on and said, Muss, if you look at his track record, he's kind of like a Larry Brown. Okay, Larry Brown been all over, coached everywhere.
Hey, okay, Larry Brown. I want to make sure I got the right guy. NBA coach, right?
Yes, he was an NBA coach. Back in the late 80s, he was at Kansas. Won a national title with Danny Manning. Okay.
That's right.
He never stays anywhere more than 3-4 years, no matter how much success he has. He's just a nomad. He's been all over the league, the NBA. He's been an assistant for Penny Hardaway. He was a coach at SMU a few years ago. I mean, dude's like in his 80s and he's still coaching. And you could play the Johnny Cash song, I've Been Everywhere, man. He's one of those guys.
That's actually legitimate. I mean,
yeah. So there was a comparison to him. There was also a comparison, and neither of us are quite old enough to remember this, but based on what I've read about this guy, it kind of fits. There was another comparison to Lou Holtz. Okay. Lou comes into a place like, let's say, when he came to Arkansas in the 70s after Frank retired. Lou comes in, he burns really hot, he burns really fast, he has success, but along the way, he pisses people off, he burns bridges, and within about 4 to 5 years, he's looking for a new challenge.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
I could see the comparison.
That's a fair comparison, though. Honestly, that is a fair comparison. I'm going to jump over to the Hog Wildlife.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because we have our top 3. Yes, that's right. We've named our third fan into the ITHP Fan Hall of Fame. And we've got Mama Linda's in the house. Good evening, guys. What's up, Mama Linda? And Casey says, hey, guys, boys, I've got so much on my mind tonight, but I'm sure we all do, so I know it'll all be covered. You better believe it.
Well, hopefully we can crawl into your head and not do too much damage as we're trying to cover everything.
I don't know.
Us in your head is a scary thought, though.
I mean, y'all met me, right? I'm just gonna throw that out there. Jesse Randall Thurman, our third biggest fan. He claimed that himself. I got to meet him over the weekend at the LSU game on Saturday, which, by the way, that was wild.
Oh man, you picked a good one.
And we're going to cover that later in the show. But he's in there and says, "What up, gentlemen? Woo Pixel. What's up, Jesse? Good to meet you, buddy." And I think that picture is up on our Facebook page. If not, I'll make sure it gets up there. Garrett Reyes says, "Woo Pixel, college baseball. I'm not putting any bad vibes in the universe." Nah, man, you can't hit bad vibes this week, man.
I got a story about baseball and bad vibes that we'll get to later in the show, because if you've ever had a moment like where you want to jump through your TV and jump through your radio and just start pounding on somebody, that was me today. And I'll explain why later.
Okay. So David Haslett says, I heard the Hunts wanted Muss to leave. What's the beef with that bunch? MC, have you heard anything? We've heard rumors.
Yeah, there was some rumor and innuendo about kind of a little bit of animosity between Muss and the Hunts back. I want to say I first heard about that maybe in January.
But
I
think that's right when that started.
Allegedly, everybody got back on the same page. But I mean, there's usually where there's smoke, there's fire. So I'll just leave it at that.
Sorry about that. I don't want to speculate.
Right.
But I have a theory.
Okay.
So just travel with me on this screwed up road trip. For 5 years, we have made the post. 4 out of 5 years, we've made the postseason. Okay. Right. 2020 doesn't count. That's a dull year. Because COVID.
Yeah.
It doesn't count.
Yeah, that's a mulligan.
We've always made either the Elite Eight or the Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to tell me that as much talent that is on this team this year, he couldn't get these guys wrangled in and focused. And again, I've had time to let this soak and kind of brew.
Mm-hmm.
But MC, come on, man. I'm not a basketball dude, and I'm not the brightest crayon in the sea or the sharpest tool in the crayon box. But you cannot tell me that Muss didn't throw this year. He knew he was going.
I don't know about throwing. I think he might have thrown in the towel before the season was over. When I said I was talking to a buddy of mine earlier in the season, and he said that Muss had thrown in the towel around February 1st. I mean, it's hard to argue with that. I think my buddy Steve was correct in saying what he said, because he was like, there's no reason why we should be this bad. And I tend to agree. I mean, there was no reason to be in the shape we were in. And the players can sense when something's off. They can sense, these are, I say these are kids. These are smart kids. they can sense when, especially the ones that have been here, maybe like a Devo or a Brazil or Opinion or somebody like that. They can sense when a coach is not fully locked in, splitting his attention, maybe trying to multitask and focus on things other than winning. So I think Steve Areno, my buddy here in the NEA, was onto something there, and I think it's, I think he was shopping jobs. Hey, we got our third wheel in the comments.
Oh,
Sarah has made an appearance
at a fancy dinner in Florida. I didn't know there was such a thing, but sorry, that just kind of came out. My bad.
Had to say hi. Well, hey to Florida for us, Sarah.
Well, hey, if you come back a Gator fan, you're fired.
She's gonna be in Jacksonville. I don't know. Is that Gator country? I don't know.
It's close to.
It's closer to that, I guess, than it is anything else. Right. And then she's calling her shot.
All right.
New coach episode next week.
I don't think we make it to the next episode before we have to do one.
I think we may have to do like an emergency show.
So y'all be paying attention and be sure to like and subscribe and follow and turn your notifications on, because once that news breaks, give us about 15 minutes and we'll be live on the air talking about it.
Now I'm gonna be out of state pretty much all of next week, from Sunday to Thursday, but I mean, I am going to be in Texas, but, they do have internet in Texas, so I can jump on if I need to. And trust me, especially if we hire Chris Beard. Dude, if we hire Chris Beard.
If we hire Chris Beard, you're going to be insufferable for
months. I'm going to be in San Antonio is where I'm going to be. I may be river dancing across the river walk there.
Oh, God, you're going to be, like I said, you're going to be insufferable and even worse than I would be. All right, so I got a text.
All right,
I'm gonna appease him because he's our producer, but I got to put Loki's last comment that he put up here. He asked me about it. I'm glad it's USC though, because if Muss is gonna do us like that, I want him to have all the Trojans he can get.
So okay, I don't know how to respond to that, but I will say this. I mean, it's pretty much foregone conclusion. Muss is leaving.
I mean, at this point, the interview was they've already come out.
That was a formality.
Yeah,
that was a formality. That was crossing T's, dotting I's. He's gone. Okay, he's gone. He's not coming back. So, tell me what your emotions are on this, because I'm probably gonna have a different take than most people. I've seen a lot of people are pretty upset about it.
Okay,
about him leaving. Are you upset?
No. I mean, honest to God, no.
Yeah.
Let me kind of defend my stance on this. Number one, he hasn't been at a job more than 5 years.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Number two, you cannot tell me, and I'm not big into conspiracies. I'm not into what ifs, speculation or anything like that.
That's me. I'm the conspiracy guy.
But and I mentioned this a few minutes ago, you cannot tell me he didn't know he was gone before the season.
No, I agree. I agree.
I think, honest to God, remember, so it was a couple of weeks ago when I think it was an Unleashed show, that we were all talking about that he's been having conversations with other schools since November.
Yeah.
What happens in November? The season starts.
Yep.
When did the conversation take place? Prior to the season.
Mm-hmm.
Put the ugly pieces to this nasty ass puzzle together, and what do you get? It's a pretty solid series.
When did this season pretty much go off the rails? The end of November after the Duke game. So
I'm just saying it again. I'm not going to be one of those trolls that's going to go out there and make this outrageous claim. Look at the facts. Okay, yeah. You're trying to tell me that a coach that can take a team that was in the basement to the Elite Eight multiple times. He's got 2 Elite Eights and what, 3 Sweet 16s or 2 Sweet 16s?
2 Elite Eights. Well, it's just the 2 Elite Eights and the Sweet 16. because we didn't make the tournament this year, and then the first year was COVID, so it got canceled. So he had that 3-year run right there of back-to-back Elite Eights, and then the Sweet 16 last year when we beat Kansas. But if you look back at it, man, and I know last year was not one of your favorite teams, but dude, that team underachieved so bad. If you look back at it now,
and they did, but with all that talent, they still got to
the Sweet 16.
Got to the Sweet 16
and lost to the eventual national champion.
We have beaten 3 of the potential national champions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 3, and you're telling me that this coach, who has done and I'm going to say it, the impossible, by taking this team from the basement to the Elite Eight in like 24 months.
This program had not been beyond the second round of the NCAA tournament since I was still in high school. Okay, 25 years ago.
You were in high school 25 years ago?
Yeah. I think, no, wait, 30.
Okay,
30.
That I was like, wait, we're not that close in age.
30 years ago. 28, whatever. I don't know. 1996.
But that's longer than 30. But here's the thing. I mean, but again, you beat Purdue handedly.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, okay, all right. We're here we go again. Must bus is rolling.
Dude, I was taking double fists of Kool-Aid at that point.
You were
drowning myself.
You were flash dancing, pulling
that
damn chain
I was
down.
Flash dancing.
All right.
Yes.
Don't even try to lie about it either.
No, I will flat out own it. I was looking at Phoenix hotel rooms, man.
But at the same time, you cannot tell me that there wasn't something there that he just. I don't want to believe the fact that he couldn't get these guys together. Love triangle, egos, everything. Again, that's all speculation. Okay,
right.
If it's true, we may be worse off than what I thought.
I think that was just Missouri talking junk.
But I
what that was.
Swear, you cannot convince me otherwise that he didn't know he was already out the door before the season started.
Oh, I agree. I'm going to jump through some of these comments here because they're piling up on us. So Miss Lisa comes in and says, Rick Schaefer said a new coach should be named by Friday. Well, Rick Schaefer probably knows. He's still very well connected up there. And if Rick Schaefer says it, more than likely it's being put together.
Which kind of tells me,
comes in and says that he's got his tinfoil hat ready.
I bet he does. He's been trying to wear it all day.
Yeah. Jesse Randall Thurman comes in and says Mike Irwin came out and said the quiet part out loud must once out. Yep. Yeah. I agree.
It's just why would he want out though?
Again, I think it goes back to him being a nomad. He's a West Coast guy, okay?
Yeah.
He's a West Coast guy. This is a job out west. Granted, it's a step down. In my opinion, it's a step down. If you look at the history of the programs, it's a step down. Some would argue it's a bigger job because it's in LA. So I have a few reasons here why I think Muss has jumped on this job. One, it's back home out west. He's going to be close to Mama. Mama still lives out west. Two, there's not, Muss has created some very high expectations here after the back-to-back Elite Eights.
Which is why I beg the question.
Yeah.
He leaves. Who the hell are we going to get? That's gonna live up to that potential.
My boy down at Oxford.
I'm
telling you. I'll come put a pin in that. I'll come back to it.
Okay.
So, number 2, he's created the lofty expectations here.
All right.
Okay. We've all seen Hawg Twitter when we don't live up to expectations. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about, y'all.
There are no expectations at USC. Okay.
Are there not, or are we just
no
because they're on the West Coast? We don't.
When's the last time they were relevant? I seriously tried to look this up the other day, and I was trying to realize Andy Enfield won some games.
Yeah,
but as far as them being nationally relevant, not really.
No, now I don't think they've ever been nationally relevant in my lifetime.
I mean,
and that's 37.
I can remember. So, travel back with me to the early 90s. And the fact that we're having to go to the early 90s tells you everything you need to know. USC had a guy that was nicknamed Baby Jordan. His name was Harold Miner.
Harold Miner, yes.
That's the last time I can think of. OJ Mayo, when OJ Mayo was out there, but OJ Mayo played 1 year and he left.
I was going to say he was more of a flash in the pan than
he was a flash in the pan. He was 1 year and he was out. So there's basically no expectations. So if he comes in and let's say he makes the second round,
okay.
and let's say going into the Big Ten, because that's another thing. They're going into the Big Ten. That's another
right, because
reason.
The Pac-12 is dissolving.
Pac-12's done. Pac-12 is done. USC's moving into the Big Ten. Okay. Where did Muss's dad coach? Coached in the Big Ten.
You would have to, I was going to say, you would have to put me on the spot.
He coached at Minnesota in the Big Ten.
That's right.
So if this, Muss is, he's made no secret about how much his dad means to him, how much his dad was his role model. He's even gone so far as to taking some of his dad's warm-up routines and put them in the warm-ups for Razorbacks.
Yeah.
The little Globetrotter type stuff. I think it's a big deal for him to coach in the Big Ten where his dad coached. Now, not only can he coach in the same conference where his dad coached, he can be within earshot of mama instead of being a 4.5 hour flight away.
True.
And I honestly, and this is not a slam. It's going to come out like it's a slam, but it's not. I don't know that living in NWA is fast-paced enough for the Musselman family. Muss feels like one of these dudes. He's a very fast-paced guy. He talks fast. He thinks fast. He's always doing something. Life in LA is a lot faster than life in Northwest Arkansas. So
it really is.
I mean, it feels like that there's something to that there. So that's my reasons why he would do this. So I'm going to jump back over to the comments real quick because there's a good one here.
MC, before you jump into that, we've broken a record here at ITHP.
How about that?
7 years of doing the show, we have broken 100 views. So you guys, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you from all of us here at ITHP. And y'all keep these comments rolling. I didn't mean to throw you off, MC, but
that's okay. That's all right. That's worth stopping me for. So y'all go visit Meek's Design.
Right?
So David Hazlitt says he's not really upset. I think his temper tantrums on the sidelines made the program look bad.
See, I don't
know. I mean,
are they worse than? I mean,
it's not worse than losing.
I was gonna say worse than losing.
No,
I mean at least he showed a passion.
If Arkansas wins those games where he has those temper tantrums, nobody says anything about it.
There's a comment. I don't know if I can find it yet, MC. There's a comment I wanted to touch on. It's by Carolyn Williams. There it is. I've never truly loved the way his bench looks. All of his entourage between him and the players. What do you think about that? I mean, you're the basketball guy.
Okay. I mean, he did have quite the entourage. Feel like we had the most GAs and biggest staff that I've ever seen among a college team.
Yeah.
But I do see what she's getting at there, because there would be 5 or 6 guys there. Usually there's about 3 guys. You have your head coach and maybe 2 assistants, and then you start in with the team, and then anybody else usually sits behind the bench. I felt like we had about 5 or 6 coaches there before we even got to the players on the bench. Carolyn, that's a great point. I hadn't really looked at it from that perspective.
She's mentioned that to me on the phone a time or two.
Uh-huh.
Great friend of mine, by the way. She's like my big sister.
That's a really good point that I hadn't really looked at.
Absolutely. Tom Eubanks. By the way, MC, I am so sorry. I'm jumping through these comments.
No, man, we have to tag team these things, man, because they're blowing in on us.
Tom Eubanks, you had even said something about this. Tom Eubanks said, I think we should take a good look at Keith Smart. Twice the game coach as Musselman has ever been.
The lack of experience scares me off there.
Yeah.
He may be mentally, as far as X's knows, he may be the next John Wooden. The thing that scares me, and the thing that would be a hard sell for the fan base, is that he's not been a head coach. And I don't really feel like this is a job for a first-time head coach. If this program is what we all claim it to be and what we all want it to be, and then you go and you hire somebody who has never coached at the D1 level before, that's a bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah.
And let's not kid ourselves here. Hunter Yurchek's butt is on the line with this hire.
Okay. Wait, all right. Let's take a quick break because I've got another theory for that one.
Okay. All right.
On the other side of the break, we're going to continue our discussion of the must bus heading west. You're listening to Inside the Hog Pen on the Sideline Radio Network. Back right after this. All right, welcome back to Inside the Hog Pen on the Sideline Radio Network. Razorback Zach hanging out with you from the Central Arkansas Hog Pen, alongside my buddy, my co-host, and all-around good guy. And I still can't get used to you being babyface, dude. We're gonna have to have a conversation about this, Marcus MC Carlton. And MC, we were talking before the break about Hunter Yurchek's job being on the line.
Yep.
And I believe it was Dylan that came up that made the comment, either to me on the phone earlier today or actually in our team chat, that how can you afford one of them? I don't want to give credit to the wrong person. Right. Might have been Loki or one of the other smarter people there than me. If you can afford to get rid of Musselman, but keep Pitt. You see where I'm headed here?
Yeah, I mean, that's,
You see where I'm headed?
Point. That's a fair point.
And everybody knows that earlier this week, there is a video out there of Hunter Yurchek on this podcast.
A Southern California podcast.
Exactly. Southern California podcast at that. And he makes the comment that Muss is our coach right now, but that could change tomorrow. Now, MC, I'm not the brightest crayon in the sea or the fastest turtle in the shed, but why would you go on a Southern California podcast? And why? First off, why would a University of Arkansas athletic director be on a podcast in Southern California?
Yeah.
And number two, why would he be making a comment like that?
Right.
Let me tell you my other conspiracy theory.
Tighten my tinfoil here.
Well, I've got my favorite Martian, my antennas. Yeah. I'm going to put aluminum foil on the end of those. I'm getting HBO and high def. But here's my theory: is I honestly think Hunter Yurchek was playing mind games with Muss, and I don't think it has become Muss versus the fans or Muss versus the board. I think this is boiled down to strictly Muss versus Yurchek. Because Muss wanted that raise, but how can you give a guy a raise when he falls flat on his face? Now, granted, I get it, MC. It's only one season, and it was bound to happen. But something about this don't seem right here.
Yeah, I'm trying to go find a tweet that lends some credence to your theory. Just 1 second here. So, anytime there's been a coaching change at Arkansas in any sport,
okay,
that change is imminent when state media, in-state media start turning on.
You mean the GOAT of sports journalism?
Well, obviously, I would say one of the most respected names in sports media inside this state And this is, good Lord, this tweet is further back than I thought it was.
Well, and
you know, when one of the most respected guys in sports media in this state turns on a coach.
well, okay, but wait, okay, you've said that a couple times, and you said it in our team chat. How?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna vamp for a minute so you can find that.
Yeah, keep going because I'm looking.
I don't understand how he turned on Musk, because he was a big sunshine pumper for oh my God, who was before Morris? Bielema. And look what happened there. I don't think he turned on him, but how can you not say Musk isn't gone after interviewing at USC? He can't.
Well,
he can't come back now. He can't. I mean,
no,
he's not going to be respected like he used to.
Well, okay, so I've tried to think of analogies to use with this. And the best one that I can come up with.
Okay.
Oh, I think D-Mad just came in clutch for us in the chat here. Let's see if this is the one I'm looking for.
By the way, big shout out to all the.
Yeah, here we go. All right, so I'm pulling this up. I'm about to share this.
All right.
This is from Steve Sullivan at Channel 7 in Little Rock, the Channel 7. This is a tweet. Shout out D-Mad for going and finding this for me. This was last night, well, right about 24 hours ago, within a few minutes of being 24 hours ago. And the tweet says, from Steve Sullivan at Channel 7, this must to USC is about a coach who can't get along with his bosses. UCLA or Arizona, I could understand, but not USC. If Musk moves, I am confident Hunter has his guy picked out. He's a hoops guy. So if Steve Sullivan is throwing it out there that Musk doesn't get along with his boss, chances are, man, it's a pretty good idea that that's what's happening. Because Sully is not a guy that's just going to throw something out there to see if it sticks to the wall.
No, and he's, he usually doesn't put anything out on Twitter that he doesn't miss much.
Right. But when Sully turns on a coach,
now Carolyn coming in clutch again, saying, but it's calling out his failure to meet potential turning. The truth hurts.
No, that's not turning. What I felt like was the turn was the first sentence of that, where it says this must to USC is about a coach who can't get along with his bosses. And then he goes on to say, if it's UCLA or it's Arizona, that's understandable because those are both arguably step up. Okay. Look at the tradition. It's obvious. It's arguably a step up from Arkansas. USC is not a step. I don't even know that USC is a lateral move.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Hey, we need to give a shout out real quick. I don't want to put this up there because it's a book, but shout out Garrett Ray. I'm literally one semester from being 2024 Arkansas Alumni Online for my master's as a historian and teacher. Not just one, but two. Wished my dad wasn't on his deathbed seeing me graduate at Arkansas, where he graduated from. He's a diehard Razorback fan, and native prayers would be appreciated. He loved your podcast. Man, hey, shout out to you. Shout out to your dad. Congratulations, big man. We're really, really proud of you. And I expect to see your name on Senior Walk.
There you go.
The next time I am up there.
Cool. Very cool. We have a knock at the door. You want to let him in?
Do we have to? God. All right. Only for a segment, though. Only for a segment. Joining us from deep inside the man cave is none other than D-Mad, Dylan Madden. What's up, D-Mad?
What's up, man?
I don't know if I'm deep inside of anything with what.
Easy there, buddy.
You know what? My bad. No, just kind of slapped across the face like everybody with this stuff. I don't know if Zach told you. I've been having my tinfoil hat on today.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
We touched on that. I had to reach up and tighten mine a little bit because mine stays on, as you know. So I gotta throw this now that you're in here, D-Matt. I'm gonna throw this comment up because I want to see what you guys have to say about this. Trey Selby, any chance we get Blocker or Devo back if we get a coach like Chris Beard?
I think Blocker probably got burnt, honestly. Devo, maybe. Devo's a hometown kid. I mean,
maybe. I don't know. I just for some reason, man, I keep thinking Devo's going to end up at Little Rock. I
think Devo's going to end up at A-State or somewhere like that. I don't think he's going to Little Rock.
See, I think he would go Little Rock before he would go A-State.
But I've been known to be wrong before, so
often.
Shut up, dude.
There was another one I wanted to get here too.
Jesse Reynold Thurman says, I'm going to call him Jay. I don't want to say, I call him Jesse from now on because
JRT, Joe Rogan experience, or was it?
USC's a step down, but for us, it does make sense. Unfortunately, yeah.
I mean, it's really hard to blame him for wanting to go home, but there's ways to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if this would have came out that like, hey, he's been shopping around with West Coast schools, hey man, it is what it is. I mean,
yeah.
But he's been linked to SMU, Louisville,
yeah,
and a lot of jobs just around the area. So it's like, it doesn't make sense that it's like, hey, he's wanting to go out west. I'm sure that's what his end goal is to go out west. Everybody's known that, but
he's been known to be a West Coast guy,
right? Yeah. And to kind of like, I don't think what he did in any shape or form was the right way of going about this. And I think Hunter knew what was about to happen. So my tinfoil hat coming on, everything that Hunter said on that podcast was a step in the direction of, hey, let's get it out in front of this. And I honestly think since he went on to a Southern California podcast the day before he announced, or they announced that Muss is going to be interviewed, is very coincidental to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
We touched on that, but go ahead and tell him what you had told me earlier on the phone.
So to me, whenever Juracek, I mean, he went to a podcast that has 500 followers, give or take.
Yeah.
Not hating on that because I mean, look right in the mirror, we're the same. But
hold the hell up a minute.
But listen,
500 followers for them, and we've got 2,500 and counting.
I was off by 2,000. That's my fault. But why would Hunter Juracek not go on to a podcast in the state of Arkansas to talk about
Why would he not
this?
come on Inside the Hog Pen?
Why didn't he come inside the Hog Pen?
Open invite, brother.
But this is why he's wanting to send a message that I'm in front of this and you will taste the boot. That's what is about to happen.
I agree.
And what was the main thing he said? It was, I put out the video because I wanted to kind of mess with people.
Mm-hmm.
He thought it was a ha-ha joke.
Yeah.
What it was. Just not for the person that everybody thinks it was. So, and it's been reported that Muss was not happy that the video came out. And that kind of put away a couple of teams of reaching out to Muss to use the leverage to get the contract extension.
Yep.
So the sentence after that was, Muss is our coach right now. Tomorrow he might not be.
Right.
What happened the next day?
That's the key statement right there.
Tomorrow he might not be. What happened tomorrow was it announced that Muss was going to be interviewed. I believe that Hunter Juracek probably reached out to some people in the Southern Californian area and said, hey, he's interviewing up there. Let him know. So that just ignited Arkansas to say, why the hell is he? Oh, I caught myself. I'm so proud of myself.
You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. I've already said a couple, so it's fine.
But that ignited Arkansas to be like, why is he leaving? Like, it made it seem like he burnt a bridge with the fans after that.
Well,
and he literally did, honestly, because none of the fans are like, why would you interview somewhere else? If you are interviewing, you're not coming back.
Well, and one of us made the comment last night when we were talking about all this. If you love your job, you wouldn't be interviewing other places.
Yeah.
So to speak. MC, I flagged a couple of
man, jump on them because I see a couple I want to get to as
Yeah.
well. So
sorry, D. Carolyn Williams says, but he may want to be the guy that turns USC around. He talks all the time about what his father built. Also, his mom is in Southern Cal, and no one knows if she's healthy, needs help, etc. Lots of things going into a decision, and even if he leaves, I'll be grateful for the excitement he's brought back to the Hill.
I mean, that's, I was going to say this earlier, and we got off on a tangent. I'll go back to this. I'm at the point now, I don't really have any hard feelings. I mean, if you want to go.
I don't either.
If you're not, if he's not fully committed, then if he doesn't want to be here, I don't want him here. As much as I like the guy, as much as I like him as a coach, as much as I appreciate the success that he had.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest here, guys. This thing is not trending in the right way.
No, but at the same time, coaches leave all the time.
Yeah, coaches leave all the time.
Why would this one be any different?
But why would a guy who has 30 losses combined in the last 2 seasons, why would he expect a contract extension after missing the tournament for the first time since he's been at Arkansas? I mean, they're
a very valid point.
30 losses in 2 years. Mike never did that.
Mike never sniffed more than the second round.
Right. But he never lost 30 games in 2 combined seasons either.
Mike never had more than 20 or had less than 20 wins in a year either.
True.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing we always heard about Mike, 7 years in, why people wanted to kid him. Well, he's never had a record below 500.
Hard to argue.
I mean, it's hard to argue
that.
But if but the record doesn't matter if you can't make a deep run in the tournament.
I agree.
So there's a couple of other questions here that we're getting. Todd Bennett says, "Do we want Devin Devo back?" I think that's a typo. And then Jesse says, "I don't think Beard would allow Devo back after him leaving twice."
I think it's best for both parties for Devo to have a change of scenery, a new home.
And Dan Yoakum says, "Why would we want Devo or Blocker back?"
I'd take Blocker back. I would take him back.
And then our producer Loki says, "Absolutely none. Blocker got done dirty in his first year, and I think he let me be that dude."
Yeah.
Do we really want Diva back? Diva. I saw that.
Blocker. I think Blocker got burnt. I think he just wants a change of scenery.
Yeah. I think,
and I hate that because I like the way that kid plays. He plays hard. He's not the guy that's going to put up 25 or 30 points, but he's going to do the dirty work that could be the difference in winning and losing.
So for those of you that are wondering about this comment, I did interview Eric Musselman before he even coached a game at Arkansas.
Oh, wow.
He did get hired, but this was right before his first season. So yeah, Trevor, you're right, but I don't think I can pull Hunter your check. Kendrick Thompson says, "Good evening from the 870." What's up, Kendrick?
Hey, over here in my neck of the woods. How about it?
Who is the next best coaching fit?
It could be in the Arkadelphia to Texarkana area.
Yeah. I'm claiming the entire 870.
I'm going to say this, and we're going to put this banner up here real quick. I'm going to say this right now. And Loki, I know you just said that the F-bomb counter is off tonight. I'm sorry if one slips out.
Try to make it a freaking.
That ain't a damn former player that you could convince me makes a good head coach.
Not right now.
There is not a former player, and I get it. I get it, y'all. I get it. We all want to live on that nostalgia, okay? Yeah. We're the Dallas Cowboys of the NCAA, okay? I hate to say it, but we are.
But it's pretty spot on.
We are, and if you don't believe me, I gave my theory, the Jerry Jones effect, that Loki, our producer, gave us. I read it at the beginning of the show. Go back after the show and watch it and listen to it. You'll understand why. Ronnie Brewer doesn't have the experience as head coach. Scotty Thurman, not a good experience at head coach. In the college level, now at high school level, he's not doing too bad over there at Parkview.
We don't want Corliss either. Corliss had his run at a D1 school, and it was awful. He was coaching UCA.
Y'all ready?
Okay.
I'm going to come to – I will drive down the road.
I'm not saying Will Wade. Don't do it. Not one Richard Pitino.
Oh, come on!
Okay, you wanting Junior or you wanting Daddy? Because Daddy just went under investigation for roster tampering.
At St. John's?
Yes.
That's fine. Bring him in. I believe in Richard Pitino. He just went under investigation again.
Yeah. For offering NIL deals to guys on other teams that were not in the portal yet.
Isn't that what everybody's doing?
Allegedly.
Isn't that what everybody does?
Yeah, I mean, he just
isn't that what Musk does? Let's be honest.
He's just a little out of practice with how things roll.
Yeah. I guess his form of recruiting is a little bit different.
Okay, I would agree with this, Gary, except for one thing. Don't the Cubbies have a World Series title?
Yeah, I just want to bring something up real quick. Y'all talked about we haven't been out of the second round since '96, right?
Prior to us, yeah.
Yeah, I was 2 years old.
I was a senior in high school.
Get the hell.
You know who we lost to in the Sweet 16 that year? Any guesses?
North Carolina.
Nope. You got a guess, Zach?
Duke.
UMass. And one John Calipari.
I forgot he was at UMass. All right, so and of course now everybody's wanting to talk about baseball, but I promise we'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh, we're gonna get there.
We're gonna get there.
No, we're gonna end this thing on a positive note.
We are. Okay, real quick, we're gonna do a round robin.
Yeah.
Chris Beard, right? You want Chris Beard?
That is the
Beard or bust, baby.
That is the top choice.
Now, that is who I want. Is that who we're going to get?
But again, I have heard we are throwing everything we can at Beard.
I have heard that as well. Is everything we have enough?
Well, according to my statistics on NIL deals,
I'm going to say it's not enough.
Well, we are quite a bit ahead of Ole Miss when it comes to NIL deals.
Well,
so,
and I will say, I think it's safe to say that Ole Miss does not put the priority on basketball that Arkansas does.
No, they put their priority on football and baseball.
They didn't put it on baseball.
Trevor,
the last 2 years.
Look here. I don't know how true this is, but this is coming from a very reliable person. So Chris Beard just agreed to a new contract, so he ain't.
Well, so what I read,
there's been speculation that he didn't sign it.
There was again, Twitter, take it with the whole shaker of salt if you want. Saw a quote tweet earlier today from the Ole Miss basketball official account. From when that announcement was made, the way it was worded was that Ole Miss and Chris Beard have agreed upon a contract extension. It did not say that he had signed a contract extension. It said that they had agreed upon a contract extension.
Is completely different. Now, Tom Eubanks is kind of putting me on notice.
Okay.
He said, you mentioned that no player has been successful as a head coach. I think Darrell Walker has been pretty successful.
Walker is the exception, but I need to see more.
Yeah.
I need to see sustained success there. And then I don't know that Darrell is ready to come to the hill. I could be wrong.
So.
I could be wrong.
Kendrick Thompson says coaching on the hill for any sport is not for the weak. And
fact.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Here's a name that nobody's really talked about. Juwan Howard.
The Michigan head coach?
Man, he just got fired from his alma mater, though.
Yeah.
The Michigan guy?
Yeah.
I mean,
one of the Fab Five. Yeah.
So here's the thing about it, though. If we're not going to get Chris Beard and we're not going to get Will Wade, I said it quietly.
I'm going to drive down
quietly.
the road.
I said it quietly. I do not believe we are in the running for Kelvin Sampson.
I don't think Kelvin's going anywhere. Kelvin was
personally.
He was a front runner a couple years back here.
He was the front runner when we hired Muss, and he was not interested then. I would say he's probably not going to be interested now because his new contract says that basically when he retires, they're going to give the job to his son.
Wait. I got it. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Dana Altman. I told you.
So funny that you mentioned him because you know where he was at Creighton when all that mess went down here.
Right.
To spin this back around, I would not be opposed to Greg McDermott from Creighton.
See, I just don't think. I think he's a lifer at Creighton. I just don't.
He
think
probably
he's-
is.
I do. I really do. I do.
So let me throw this name at you.
Okay.
If Beard is off the table, this guy's probably my number 2. Porter
Really?
Mosier.
Yeah, he almost left. He was very close to leaving. Apparently, he was shopping around.
Yeah, he
All
was
right.
shopping. He's been shopping around a little bit as well. Another guy that has ties to the state, not necessarily the program, but he has ties to the state because he was at UALR several years back. He's been to a Final Four with a no-name underdog, just kind of caught fire at the right time. I've been impressed with what he's done at Oklahoma. He's beat Muss's tail a couple times. I would be okay with Porter Mosier. I would be okay. I would be a little iffy, but I would be okay with Grant McCaslin from Texas Tech. I don't know that you'll ever get him out of Texas. He's a Texas guy. He was here at Arkansas State, stayed for 1 year, won like 26, 27 games, went to North Texas, turned them around, parlayed that into the Texas Tech job. I think there are some names out there that you could go after. Obviously, Beard is he is the blue marlin catch that you want to bring in and put up on the wall.
But
Hold on.
And
What about?
It's funny that you mentioned that because in our little pre-show chit chat that we had, I told Zach, I was like, you know what?
No,
if we're gonna swing for the moon, what? I mean, dude wins. He wins. He's personable. He could relate to the fan base.
Does Billy Donovan have a job right now?
can you? I don't.
Oh, I think he's still in the pros. He may be an assistant in the pros.
Man, I
now.
really don't think he's a head coach right now.
I don't know. I would have to.
We're
I would have to
gonna.
look that up.
This could go on forever. We could be throwing names out forever. But
You're right.
let's get to the topic that everybody wants to talk about. But we got to step away real quick. Take one more break. When we come back, it's all about the Hogs. We want to thank Dylan Madden for joining us on the show. D-Mad, we appreciate you, dude. We will get
Oh,
you-
not a problem. Y'all are too nice around here. You know that.
You've met us, right?
Unfortunately.
Checks in the mail, brother.
Right? Right. You're listening to Inside the Hog Pen on the Sideline Radio Network. Omaha Talk on the other side of the break.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Inside the Hog Pens on the Sideline Radio Network. Razorback Zach and Marcus MC Carlton hanging out with you. Sarah is out tonight. She is currently in Jacksonville, Florida. All right, so pull out your brooms. Pull out. No, see, I can't even say that without a straight face because that's funny as hell. I was going to say pull out your corn dogs, but well, that's neither here nor there. Hey. Arkansas gets the sweep against LSU in the baseball version of Battle for the Boot. And it turns around a couple days later and run rules A-State in like the third inning.
Yeah, I think they scored 9 runs in
Yep.
either the third or the fourth inning, and
you could take a nap, wake up, and it would still be the third inning. But man, I went out there, so I got the opportunity to go see Game 3 Saturday afternoon, and
oh man, you saw a good one, man.
Look, I was crazy that day. Like I said, I've started to feel more like myself now. I've had some things in my personal life kind of go sideways, but I'm feeling more like myself again. But I was out there clowning around, having fun, and look up, and it's 4-1 LSU, and I'm going, oh God, this is not good. We need to like do something. And if I didn't call it right on the nose, but the comeback and the scrappiness of this team.
Yes.
I said this, and I'm going to go ahead and say this, and I'm probably going to get crap thrown at me, and I'm okay with that because I'll stand by this. The 2018 team had talent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think this is the most talented squad DVH has had. I'm going to say in his 22 years.
I mean,
they're not real home run hitters.
But they have become timely hitters.
But they've become timely.
Yes.
There's not, and I heard this on the radio earlier today. There is not a player on this roster that would not start in the SEC.
Oh, I agree. I mean, you could take anybody on this roster and they can start anywhere in the country.
Oh, yeah.
I firmly believe that. So I usually, when we start talking about how talented a team is, there's 2 teams that I kind of go to. I go to 2018 and I go to 2021. And when we start talking about how talented a team is, the 2021 team was, as far as offensively, they're one of the best that I've seen. Now, I see you here, Carolyn, and I do not disagree. I just didn't see enough of that team. So Carolyn comes back and says the COVID year team had the most talent.
But the problem
very possible, but we didn't get to see much of it.
Exactly. And that's why I say this is probably the most talented, because we didn't get to see that team.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see that team's full potential. Let's put it like that.
5-6 games, something
like a week.
Yeah. I mean, Heston Kjerstad was on a tear. He had homered in basically every game up to that point. What sticks out to me with this team is the ridiculous amount of depth at the pitching staff. Because, I mean, it's like these midweek games, we're having pitchers work 1 inning.
I'm really glad
we're going to another guy just trying to get everybody in and get them some throws.
I'm really glad I saw Gage Wood last night.
Yeah.
Really glad.
Yep. He hadn't seen any action in quite a while. And then, you had Hunter Dietz come off of injury, and what he made his debut in the LSU series, and this tells you exactly what they think of him. He comes in not only against the defending national champs, but he comes in and one of the first guys he faces is arguably the best hitter in college baseball, and Tommy White. So that tells you what they think about this kid coming in. Then you still got Gabe Gackle. You've got, how can we not talk about the Kevin Kopps clone of Will McIntyre? Willie Mack even said that in the offseason he had worked with Kevin Kopps, and you can tell it, man, because he's got that cutter working right now. So, this is just...
And he was clowning on the broadcast yesterday.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was
fun
great
to watch. But, going back to the weekend, this team, they never get rattled. Go back to Thursday night. Hagen Smith gives up back-to-back home runs and then goes on to strike out like 8 or 9 more guys after that. How many pitchers are going to give up back-to-back jacks and not get the least little bit rattled?
The only thing I'm worried about, Brady Tiger.
Yeah. Brady is
last 2 weeks. And physically, from what I've gathered, physically he's fine. It's all up here.
Well, I heard
I think he's putting too much pressure on himself.
There was a former pitcher that I heard on the radio, and it may have been Scott Tabor. It was either Scott Tabor or James Teague, one or the other. And they were talking about that is something with his form and the way he throws that he's I can't remember the exact terminology he used, but he basically said when he throws and his follow through and his back is facing home plate, he's like, that's not good. He said that, and he said that was part of what was causing him to miss his location with his fastball and not have the control that he had earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Now I think I fully have faith that he's going to get it fixed. And honestly, if Tyggart's going to struggle, I'd rather him struggle now.
Yeah, and he's not.
The thing is, man, he's still not doing that bad.
I was going to say he's not doing terrible, and he's by far not. I mean, give me one pitcher on our team that's struggling. I mean, really struggling. You got none. You have none right now. You have none. He's not that bad off. And if he just settles himself down, son, look out.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is look out.
Because we've seen what Taggart can do when he has full control. Now, for as much as he's struggling with his fastball right now, his breaking stuff is on point. He's fooling guys left and right, but he's not the top pitcher that can live on breaking stuff. He's got to have that 96, 97 mile an hour fastball, and he's got to be able to control it. Because when he does, man, I mean, he's just dang near untouchable.
Yeah.
I got to throw this up because this is one of my favorite baseball movies. Do you get the reference? Yeah.
I think so.
Rose goes in the front, big guy. His eyelids are jammed. He's just got to unjam his eyelids and don't think, just pitch.
Yeah.
That's well played there, Carolyn. Well played. I like that. I am we got Ole Miss coming up starting tomorrow night, another Thursday, Friday, Saturday series.
Right.
Ole Miss comes into this struggling. They're struggling. They lost last night, I believe, to Memphis. Prior to that, they got was it Kentucky, I think, that got them, which there's a big series on the horizon if you make the cardinal mistake of looking ahead. That Arkansas-Kentucky series is shaping up to be who's going to take the overall lead in the SEC because they're dominating the East right now about like we're dominating the West. So that may be one to watch within the next few weeks when it comes up, but you can't get there until you win the series in front of you. And how many times have we said this? When Arkansas and Ole Miss get together, stupid things happen. It doesn't matter the sport.
And the thing is it's not at home. I don't think.
No, it is. It's here.
Is it at Baum?
I'm pretty sure it's at Baum.
I thought it was in Oxford.
I think it's here. I will double check that.
Oh no, it's here. It's here.
Okay,
yeah, it's here. It's here because.
But stupid stuff happens when these two teams get together. So it would not surprise me in the least to see Ole Miss come in here this weekend and play like the 98 Braves or something.
Right.
They'll be at their best this weekend. There's no doubt about it. Their pitchers will be pitching over their head. So Trevor Kaiser says, MC, I'm worried about Texas A&M in college. It's in College Station. If I remember correctly, that's one of the final. That may be the final series before we go to Hoover, and that will be a good one as well. If you haven't seen A&M, you need to go watch them. They're pretty stinking good right now. They brought over a couple years ago. They brought over TCU's coach. I can't remember. It's something weird. His name's like Pitt Snoggle or something like that. It's something like that. He was a TCU coach a few years ago. Left there, came to Jim
Snotwaggle or whatever.
Yeah, Snotwaggle. So hey, Matt Hart, from Hawg HQ joining us. The final series is TAMU.
That's getting clipped
at the ice cream park, Bluebell Park, I believe is where they play.
Yeah,
that'll be a good one. I mean, how many different ways can you say these guys are really, really stinking good? Because that's kind of where we're at with baseball right now. And to jump back to something I'd said earlier about, I heard something today that made me want to jump through the radio. The afternoon show in Northwest Arkansas. I'm not going to plug them, but you can figure out who it is. It's the only sports talk show in Northwest Arkansas that goes statewide. You got one guy that's a Notre Dame fan, and you got one guy that is just, I don't know, hates everything. The Notre Dame fan was talking about,
I need a pronunciation key with that, Loki, if you don't mind.
the Z is silent.
Right?
The Notre Dame fan was talking about, he's like, man, cancel the season now. He's like, just hand them the trophy. They're that good.
See,
And I'm like, stop it. Stop it.
I was going to, and see, Dylan and I were talking about this earlier today. Is it too soon to be talking about that?
In my opinion, yes. There's a lot of baseball left. We're basically at the halfway point of the regular season.
I'm nervous when we start talking this soon, this early about trophies and Omaha. Not saying that we're not going to make it.
Right.
But it just makes me a little nervous.
So Jesse, I don't disagree, Jesse. Jesse comes in and says, that's not a sports show, MC. I love the show, but that's just idiots talking on radio. Fair. The only reason I called it a sports show is because it's on a sports station. So there you go. And by the way, I listen almost every day as well. So it's a good time.
When you should be listening to us.
Well, I mean, we're not on at the same time they are. So
we can be on anytime. You know why?
They're not on at the same time we are.
There we go.
Put it that way.
Matt Hart says the last time we were like this was Cop Shoot.
Yeah. And if you look back at that and you're truly honest about it, outside of Cops, we didn't have any pitching. Cops was all we had.
And we burnt him. We burnt him in that game.
Yeah, I mean, we worked him more than we should have. And if you look at this team, man, I mean, even the guys in middle relief Willie Mack would be a starter anywhere else.
And I think honestly, Willie Mack could start. I don't think he wants to. I think he's one of those that wants to come out of the bullpen.
Whatever Willie Mack is doing right now, Willie Mack does not need to change a thing.
No.
He needs to eat the same thing. He needs to wear the same underwear. He needs to do everything the same. Don't shake off your catcher. Just, he is he's in the zone right now. That's the best way I know to put it. And if you've noticed, man, he has a different swagger about him this year.
There is something.
He's just he is exuding confidence in himself, and
Jesse's
he was
right.
Will thrive. Okay, so Jesse comes back and says Will thrives in that bullpen position. He's 10 times better than he was as a starter. 100% agree. And it goes back to him having the confidence and that different swagger now.
I tell you this, MC, they need to slap a pair of fake glasses on him. And when he comes out of that bullpen, it needs to be wild.
Fire it up, baby. Fire it up. Because
the day they do that, I am losing my mind.
Bomb would explode.
I'm losing. Come on, Loke. Really?
Yeah. Rose goes in the front, big guy.
But he is. There's not even the middle, like you said, even the middle relievers are not.
Yeah.
There's not much of a drop off. There's a slight one.
I hate that I can't find a fault with this team.
I hate that
because that's what scares me. Because I was talking with my cousin about this Sunday we had Easter dinner and the whole big family got together and we were talking about it. And we were like, y'all, we're scary good, but we are so jaded to the history of Razorbacks literally dropping the ball.
Why? What? You could have done anything other. You could have picked any.
But that's the demon we got to exercise. That's the demon that we got to throw the holy water on and get it out. So it's.
You had to do it. You just,
that's where we're at. We were talking about it's like look, it's not gonna break my heart if we have a bad series somewhere because
thank you.
I know. Look, it's forever too soon. It's forever too soon until we grab that trophy and bring it back home.
Okay, Trevor, hold on. Trevor makes a good point, and I want to touch on this for a minute. Okay, DVH can't miss any more games. Matt Hobbs almost lost game 2 in Auburn. We did lose a game to Auburn. Auburn's one win that they currently have is to us.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me if I give a damn.
And Missouri's one win that they have is Kentucky's one loss.
Okay. Anything happens in baseball, don't look at the individual scores. Don't look at the individual game. Look at the series.
The game we lost was the game where Dave came back.
Exactly.
I mean,
and again, that's not on Matt Hobbs. Okay.
Right. No, absolutely not.
But somebody told me that DVH, once we win the series, game 3 is usually the game that he treats as the midweek game where he's just putting guys in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have no problem with that because, baseball is done to where if you win the series, okay, that's what you get. The sweep is just icing on the cake, man. So we have a little private chat kind of behind the scenes here, and DMAD just literally threw out a question that I was making a point about not even just a few seconds ago. Do we want the team to drop a series so they feel human? It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I mean, you never want your team to lose, but again, go back to 2021.
Okay,
we did not lose a single series all year long. What happened in the Super?
Then let's don't start. Don't get DMAT started on that again. But if you were to lose a series, who would you lose it to?
It don't matter.
I don't know. I think it does.
I mean, I don't know. The SEC is so good in baseball. I mean, you could drop it this weekend to Ole Miss.
No.
I don't see that happening.
No, God, no. Do you?
No, but I go back to the fact stupid things happen when Arkansas and Ole Miss get together.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So,
well, but I don't know. And I mean,
I don't know. I mean,
you don't just
one to circle is that last series of the regular season at A&M. That's one to circle.
True. Carolyn says, but in 2021 we had to have bats because we didn't have pitching. So
correct.
Same.
Correct. Yeah. Very correct there.
I can get behind that. And JP says I would Kentucky. So do we drop the series to Kentucky?
You're not going to go out and intentionally throw one.
Oh, but God, no. But if you had to lose one,
if it happens, it happens.
Yeah. Carolyn, Casey says, really, really, really great show tonight, guys. Thank you, Casey.
Appreciate that.
And we appreciate everybody watching tonight.
It's been a fun one.
This
a lot of fun.
It has been a fun week.
And it has flown by.
We have broken every kind of record that I think we could. Trey Selby says, I just don't want the number 1 ranking. It has never worked out for anyone. Would like us to break that curse, but our luck. Let us be the second-ranked team. So we talked about this last week because I kind of said the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the number 1 seed, but it's the number 1 seed you don't want to be.
Yes.
You can be the number 1 team in the country through the regular season. What you don't want is the number 1 overall seed in the postseason. That's
correct.
Where we get tripped up. That's where the curse is. And I don't know. We're going to have – so I'm going to kind of tease this a little bit, MC, before we get out of here tonight. We're working on an episode for the pod of the curse of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Mm-hmm. And I think MC can kind of preview this, and you can trace this back almost to the 69 shootout.
Yeah, I mean, so we were kind of talking through this the other day, and this is a conversation that I've had with some friends of mine over the years. Our running joke is that Arkansas is the University of almost. You almost did this, you almost did that, and we sit down one day, and this was right after the Scoop and Score Sugar Bowl. It was right after that. We sat down and we were just having our poo-poo lips out and feeling sorry for ourselves. And we went back and we traced the almost all the way back to the big shootout of 1969 with Arkansas and Texas and Richard Nixon in attendance and everything, all the hoopla that went around that game. Traced it all the way back to there. There was at least one instance like every 3 to 4 years after that come all the way up, and it was football basketball, baseball were the ones that we went through. There you go, Gary Davis. December 6, 1969, the day the earth stood still and the sky turned black. I'm not old enough to have been a part of that. I did talk to my uncle he was 19 in 1969. So vivid memory of it. After the 2018 College World Series, I asked my uncle, I was like, how does this compare to the 69 shootout? He said, 69 shootout was much more painful than this. And I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand how it could be more painful. He's like, just trust me, it was. And so he went on to explain, in pretty great detail, his vivid memory of how miserable things were everywhere you went at that point. So, yeah, we're working on this for the pod, and I'm going back and I'm crossing my T's, dotting my I's, and getting all my ducks in a row before we record this one. But we traced it all the way back to the 69 shootout through the glory days of the 90s in basketball, up through the 2018 World Series, up through 2020 when COVID shut down what was probably going to be another Omaha run, and then up to, Muss's Elite Eight runs. Chased it all the way through there.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be an interesting one. We're going to get that one recorded here in the next few weeks and hopefully and throw it out on a pod. I guess it kind of depends on when I get all my research done. But that's one that I think everybody will, it'll be kind of painful to relive some of that. But at the same time, you're going to look at it and be like, golly, there have been a lot of almosts. So
yeah, you're going to walk away from this podcast going, son of a bitch, they were right.
So, and this was one that, younger generation and old heads both can relate to, because we go so far back, that I think this is one that everybody will enjoy.
All right, final thoughts before we get out of here, MC.
Beard or bust, baby. Beard or bust.
Mike Krzyzewski still got a couple of years in him, doesn't he? Doesn't he? I mean,
Jay Wright from Villanova is not doing anything right now.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, Billy Donovan, current coach of the Chicago Bulls.
All right.
So that's where he's at.
You have a mission before next show there, MC.
Oh,
bring the goatee back.
Hang on. We got somebody knocking at the door again.
Oh, geez. What does he want now?
All I gotta say is, if you want beard, you have to grow your beard back. That's all I gotta say. I'll go back.
Look, if we hire Chris Beard, I will go full DMAD and grow this thing out thick. I might even go to the Phil Robertson ZZ Top look if we hire Chris Beard.
Okay,
we don't mess with him.
Before we get out of here, one more point, okay?
Yep.
Because I couldn't pass this one up. This she's got a very valid point. What about the theory of 64 football, 94 baseball, 24?
94 basketball, 24 baseball.
In the 30-year cycle, it is baseball's turn.
I mean, there is some credence to that. And it's kind of like if you go back, and I'm going to tie an Avenger movie into this.
My ears perked up.
You had, but what had to happen before you could get the Soul Stone? You had to have a sacrifice.
Soul for a soul.
We've had the sacrifice in basketball season. We sacrificed basketball season. Now it's time to get that Soul Stone, known as the big trophy from Omaha.
I agree 100%.
So there you go.
100%.
I'll leave you with that.
I again, I can't say much, but hope everybody enjoyed the show. Be watching in case breaking news does hit, because I'm gonna give us a 15-minute window to get our minds together, get our shit together, and we will be live on the air breaking it all down. If there is an announcement made before next Wednesday, we will be live on air breaking it all down and bringing it to you live. Man, but
we may not be first. We're going to make sure that it's legit. We're not just going to jump out there at the first Twitter account we see that says, "Oh, Muss is taking the job."
We care more about the facts
Yeah,
Then
I
we
want to
do
be
about
right.
Speculation. We care about being right than being first. I don't
Yep.
care if we're last, but if we're right, I'm all right with it. Until next time, for Marcus MC Carlton, I'm Razorback Zach. You have been watching an all-new episode and listening to an all-new episode of Inside the Hog Pen. Until next time, so long, everybody.